Hi, welcome to another devlog. This is going to be a short one. Currently at this time all the main levels are done, which means all that's left to do is redo this hub world because I find it kind of ugly. I'm working on it right now, but I got some shit to do and I'm not going to be able to record for the next 3 days, so I'm hoping that I can just make this real quick and have something out. And I thought I would show off a bit of the stuff I didn't really get to show off last time. We're going to go to World 7. And I thought I'd explain some of the problems I've been running into in this little devlog and how I've gotten around them. So I'll just record this a little non-linearly. Okay, so this level, Rolling Ghost House, has these guys. They're a bit too big and they have the power to crush you, so I'll have to work on that a little, but they work way better than I thought, so that was cute. But these use a custom up and down code because the one I wanted to use was too big and went too slow, and I wanted it a little faster. This guy was pretty easy to do. And this is tilting platform, just to keep you on your toes. But I want to talk about the one thing in this level. Yeah. There will be spoilers in this part. So you notice that guy over there, right? This is... Move. Please don't knock me off. They're real... I can't really change much because boos are actually used in this, but you can see. So here we have a blarg. That is literally all he does. Now, it does actually act as a different enemy in a different level, mainly as just kind of an annoying obstacle, because kind of what it was in the original. But this is the main thing I wanted to point to. These are just little platforms that go back and forth. I didn't want to... But the problem I have, well, two problems. They don't work. I have to raise them up a pixel. But the issue I had with these guys will be here. This is where these platforms started to become a problem, because I wanted it to be an obstacle you can go around, but that's not how death planes work. So I wanted them to go back and forth on the platform, but I realized I had to switch them in order to make them a bit more of a challenge, and it worked out a little well. But you'll see here we have the places where the blargs come in use. First, this guy, I'm preventing you from doing that shortcut. I need to lower that wheel. And then here, guy basically has the job of doing the same thing. The box is very generous, so we're not gonna worry about it. But yeah, the blargs work. This level's done now, thank God. It took forever. Which is one problem with the end game, it just took so long to work on. I think this is still my best level. It's got like the best enemy placements, looks the best. It's got butterflies. I need to make those green. This cube here is now done. I do need to fix the rotation because the main problem I've been having with rotating objects is they just don't fucking work. Because you have rotation rate, rotation speed, as in when you process the speed how the object moves, and collision rotation. And when you add that in assembly specifically, it's either rate or flat depending how you write it. So, this works now, but the amount of finicking I've had to do to get this stupid platform to work is ridiculous. And I'll show you the biggest disappointment in my life. This guy is so good because you can use the 2B parameters to make a float, which it'll then follow and go up. And I have used it once. I thought this level needed it 3 times. I was so wrong. That's all. Next problem. And for this one, we gotta go to World 3. So here's a fun fact you might not know. Bank 7, which is what people typically use for custom objects, has a limit of 4,000 bytes, which is quite a lot of bytes. And these custom objects here use Bank 5 because I ran out of space. The consequence is that I only get to use assorted objects 4, I believe. Recording on it is annoying, and Moopin's just quicker to start up. I just prefer playing on this. I did finally fix some of the controller problems for a bit. It's still there, it's clearly Joy-Con drift, but I think when I have the right plug, charging it. It works better because it actually knows how to function. Oh, here we are. So in this level, I wanted fish, but it's World 3. I don't have fish. These guys are simple. They work perfectly. So I made my own custom cheap in order to get around the bank 5 problem, especially because actual cheaps are quite useless. But if we go back, okay, oh fuck, that's another problem. The sound effect command, the jump and link code I use for the note block sometimes does that, where it plays the wrong sound, because a different function is using that, and it offsets the temporary command, or the temporary argument. This is a cool little block though, it needs to be reskinned, so this should be broken, right? I'm not gonna say anything. So, to get around the fish problem, because I wanted a different fish, I did the green fish. It does more damage, and it doesn't work half the time. I couldn't use Bowser bombs, but I'm gonna get around this, because, well, let me show you something. So remember how I said that I've been overriding Bank 5 to get around it? Turns out, you don't need to load everything in one 17 command. You can actually do 2, but the way you do it, especially when loading 2 sets in the bank of Bank 7, is finicky as fuck. And I had to do it in World 2, but I can't show it because spoilers. So here, we have custom objects, booze, and star coins. Oh my god, it's Christmas! Burn the world! Die! But how did I fix that, you don't ask? Well, here we are in this other program. So, let's see what I did. So, 3 uses Bank 5. We go to, not there. We scroll down to the F3D commands. We can see that here, Bank 7, and then above it, it loads into Bank 5. So, all the custom objects in the second row do Bank 5 because I couldn't make enough room. Now, the problem is that in a different level, World 4, I needed booze and the other things I needed. So I wasn't really willing to give it up. But you can see here that this object fish is not loading, but it does load in the game because if we load this, I found a way to make it work. Basically, you load the new objects you want first, and you make sure you import them at 0702 to wherever it goes. As long as it doesn't exceed 0704, you'll be fine, because 4,000 bytes. And then you plop down another 17 command here, and then you load in the base objects. I don't know why that works, but if we do it properly as we do in World 5, you can see that we have star coins and new platforms. Because if you do it right, you can have multiple. You only need one load here, and you end the loading sequence, and then you just load it again. And it just lets you do that. So that's how I've gotten around that. Sync there. Here we are back in Mayro, doing the Mayro. Oh my god, I almost forgot the stupidest fucking thing in the world. Remember that elevator in 7.2? Well, let's go over to the Piranha Plant. Notice how it's working perfectly fine? For some reason, I accidentally overwrote some of the Piranha Plant code, so it was always attacking, and if you hit it, it would basically break. It wouldn't be interactable, so I had to move that to a different spot. Okay, pretty simple. Where'd you move it to? Oh, nowhere, just where the Scuttlebug code happens to also be. So, in trying to fix that stupid piece of crap, I also broke the Scuttlebug code. Wow! But now let's go over to the last one. And by far the most annoying bug I experienced. For this, we're going to look at World 8. And we're going to look at, actually do that, we gotta go back. So here we are in 2.3. I believe this one's called, I don't remember. But you can see here, oh, there's a little fireball guy. Wow. What a cool feature. Would be useful if I could reuse that in World 8, so I learned the little 17 command trick, and I thought, ah, nice, let's use it. Now keep in mind, World 8 has its own set of objects, along with the base objects. I'd never done this for 3 before because, quite frankly, it's a lot more complicated, because the original Fireball is loaded into Bank 7 with the base objects in World 2, because I still had room back then, when I was happier. So if we load World 8, we can see, go over to this guy, hey, it loaded, and there's base objects. I don't believe this level has any of the custom objects yet, because I'm saving that, because I don't want to spoil. But you may be wondering, how did I fix that? Here we are back in whatever this is, and if we go to World 8, I'm going to be careful here, because I don't want to spoil too much. I think I can spoil a little. We can see star coins, the boobly boo, and going into a tiny corner of World 2, we can see custom objects. In fact, it's even right next to the little guy. So how did I deal with this? Well, the first time I did it, it didn't work and it kept crashing really badly. So let's see how it works. Okay, so it's going to be stupid. You load in the base object bank, okay? Then you load the object, the first object. You basically want to go in terms of RAM bank order, you want to go backwards. So this is the highest of the RAM banks, so we'll load it first. Then we'll load the World 8 objects, which is a lot because World 8 was hell to make. Then we have the base objects, including 2 of the same command, because I messed up somewhere. I think I'm going to have Goombella in this level. How cute. And then everything else is exactly the same. This has the most objects out of any level. Honestly, even levels like this, I still had that problem, but I did eventually get it to work. And a little fun trick, this is actually not one ice cube texture. If we look over here, it's actually 2. Or at least it's 2 stacked on top of each other in the texture preset. That's a cool trick you can learn. Here we are back in Cringe. I'm not using Blender full time. That program's annoying for Mario 64 level design. But here we have the new hub world. Not for World 8. I'm putting that in its own area, and you'll see when I've ever finished that. And the way this one works is I wanted it a big open space in the style of Crash Tag Team Racing, where you have a hub world where you can do like side quests and stuff. And none of it is really textured besides some objects for scaling. For the most part, I think it works. It needs some work, but I think it maybe some scaling. Like I think this part here is way too small. But it is about what I need, and I'm going to work on texturing it later today, but I have some other stuff I got to do. So that's all for this devlog. Don't make things.